Hi, welcome back to the channel. I'm David.
And I'm Rob. Having spent a lot of time in Singapore over the years, we do get asked, whether people should come to Singapore or not. So we thought we would do a video on some of the reasons why we think you might want to come visit Singapore. We're David and Rob, and we are taking what we are hoping will be a 4-year sabbatical to travel the world. We've lived in and traveled to over 75 countries and territories over the past 30 years, and we are here to share our unconventional life of long-term travel to give you an example of what is possible.
Today is a good day to live.
So when people ask if they should go to Singapore, I say absolutely yes. It's an amazing city. It is vibrant and alive and diverse, and there's so much to do.
It's just that good combination of city, but also nature, all really close to each other.
And easy to get to and easy to find, and it's a lot of fun.
A nice thing about Singapore is communication is really easy. Singapore has 4 official languages, which are Malay, Mandarin, Tamil, and English is one of the official languages. So even when you're going into like little hawker stalls, almost everyone speaks at least some, if not being fluent in English. So getting around becomes very easy.
Chances are the first thing you see when you get to Singapore will be the airport. And the airport is fantastic. It's one of our favorite airports, one of the best airports in the world, probably. There is so much to do there. There are art exhibits and fountains and gardens. You could probably spend an entire day there if you wanted. There's swimming pool that you could go to. Everything.
Yeah.
And it's easy to get in and easy to get out.
Yeah, so getting into the city, obviously you can take a taxi or get a car. We took the subway. It's called the MRT line there, and it is very simple to use. There are quite a few different lines that go across the island. But if you have any experience riding subways at all and reading those maps, it's very easy to kind of figure out these are the different color lines. These are the stops where you can get off of one and onto another and transfer. It's pretty straightforward and easy.
And even in general, Singapore is not a cheap city, but the transportation is.
Yeah, I think we spent under $3 to get from the airport all the way to Little India, where we were staying that first time. But even if you don't want to get on the subway or get as far as getting around town, like I said, taxis are very easy to find. But Singapore is a pretty walkable kind of city.
Very.
If you get into any of the neighborhoods, we're big walkers and we'll walk miles and miles just because we kind of like to explore. But if you know where you want to go, it's very likely there's just going to be, the sidewalks are big, the streets are very easy to cross and well marked.
Yeah, people follow the traffic rules, so you don't have to worry about getting hit by a stray car.
Yeah, very easy to get around Singapore. One of our favorite reasons that we like returning to Singapore so often is the food. There is amazing things to eat in Singapore. Now, eating in Singapore, like everything else, can be very expensive. There are definitely super nice restaurants and even just moderately priced restaurants that are going to seem expensive by Western standards and definitely compared to everywhere else in Southeast Asia. But some of the favorite food that we've had there are going to be the cheap food that you get at the hawker stalls. There are hawker stalls all over the city. Just different places where they have all these different vendors kind of crammed into one place. And oh my gosh, some of the food in there is just to die for.
Yeah, since the country is a mix of a lot of different cultures, you can get any kind of food you want there also.
It's all there, and kind of some of the best food we've had is when we don't even know where we're going, we'll kind of just stumble into a hawker stall market and we just pick a place at random. I think this last time, I'll put a picture up of the stall that we went to in Albert Center, which was across the street from our hotel. And the very first meal we had there was the best food we had the entire time we were in Singapore.
It was good food.
It was some char siu. They do great. Chicken fried rice is very, very popular in Singapore. But the char siu, oh my gosh, I could go on and on about how delicious that is. Any of the like barbecued pork kind of stuff. And then there's a hawker stall up by Orchard Road. It's a little bit of a walk from Orchard Road, but it's called Newton Circus. And every time I go there, I always order the same thing, but it's so good. It's barbecue stingray, and they cover it in garlic. Like, you can't even see the stingray. There's so much garlic on top of it. It is really, really good. What was the thing you got? Very famous. They have the crab.
Oh, it's a chili crab.
Chili crab.
Yeah, really good.
Yes. Very famous to have in Singapore. So there's very good food. You really can't go wrong. I mean, some of it can be ordinary, but I don't think we've ever had bad food in Singapore. So lots and lots of options, plus all the restaurants, and there's McDonald's and, you know, everything you could possibly kind of want to have. So lots of options. You're going to enjoy the food. Another great reason to visit Singapore is just there's a lot of things to do. You can go to the night safari, which is a zoo that you go after dark. So unlike a regular zoo where you have all those nocturnal animals that sleep during the day, at the night zoo you go and they're all up and awake. They use a lot of natural barriers instead of fences. So you just ride this tram around and you can see the lions and the tapirs and everything just sort of walking around. Very enjoyable kind of zoo if you're into that. There's lots of concerts and theater. There's Sentosa Island, which is sort of like the theme park resort world to go over and kind of do some indulgent kind of fun.
Yeah. There's lots of shopping. You could go to Orchard Road and hit mall after mall after mall after mall. You could spend a whole day there.
Yeah, there's day trips you can take out, like to some of the Indonesian islands of Bataan. There's just unending things to do in Singapore. We did do a video on some of the free things to do if you're trying to save a buck or two. There's some great free things to do, so I'll put a link to that here. And just, I have to mention my number one favorite thing to do in Singapore, which is Haw Par Villa. I completely love it. Watch this video to learn more about that, but it is an excellent place to go, definitely while you're in Singapore as well. So tons to do, you're not going to get bored. The last thing we wanted to mention about Singapore is just to remind you that you have options when you are ready to leave. I think many people are going to return to Changi Airport and fly to wherever they want to go. It's a hub. It's very easy to get around from there. But Singapore is connected by bridge to Malaysia. We opted to take a bus from Singapore up to Kuala Lumpur. It was very easy. The bus was nice, big, clean, comfortable. It had Wi-Fi.
Yeah, we were on the Star Mart line.
Yes.
If you want to look that up.
I think it cost us $45 US for both of us to go that whole way. Going across the border is pretty straightforward. They take you through as a group. The whole bus goes together. So
it's easy.
It's kind of easy to go through Singapore immigration, and then you get back on the bus and go through Malaysian immigration. It was all very straightforward. We have heard people talk about how the border can be very crowded sometimes and take a couple of hours. But for us, our experiences, we just kind of went right through. It didn't take that long at all.
Yeah.
So very easy. Singapore is a great place, I think, is the takeaway. We definitely recommend people check it out. Just kind of depending on your budget of how long you want to stay there, you know, that might be the biggest factor. But otherwise, you're going to find things to do. There's plenty of places to go and check out and learn. Go to Haw Par Villa. And you're going to have a great time while you're there. If you enjoyed this video, the best way you can support our channel is to subscribe if you haven't already, or give this video a like. We do release new videos every Sunday, so we will see you next week.
Today and not tomorrow. There's no time to borrow.
Anything to add? I totally put you on the spot.